Yo, what's up guys? This is the Asian Pitbull here and welcome to my WWE Raw review. So there's gonna be a change in format instead of the old format where I basically go through the matches one by one and the segment in sequence. We're gonna switch it up. In this new video format, we are gonna talk about the highlights, what is worth watching, what you should just skip, and don't waste your time basically, because our time is precious and we have very limited attention span, and we don't want to waste our time watching shitty product or shitty shows. And with 3 hour Raw, it's very hard to sit through everything. So basically, I'm gonna share with you my thoughts and just let you know what I feel is worth watching, the matches or the segments, and the other things that you can basically skip. Okay, and we are gonna go through the main card of each show, as you can see here, and we'll end this by talking about the backstage segments. So I will segregate out the backstage segments and just give an overall comment whether to watch them or not, or to just point out the ones that are worth watching, and then give a final rating. So you ready? Let's begin. So this episode of Raw is supposedly we don't know, but it's supposedly the first time Paul Heyman is in charge after his new role as executive director. And yes, I was hyped to see him appearing on TV, and the expectation was that he'll come back as some sort of general manager role. But then again, they never really mentioned this, so we were just hyping ourselves up. So it looks like he will still be playing a backstage, having a backstage impact, but will not actually show up like a Raw general manager role. Although he showed up for this episode of Raw, but not for his role, but for Brock Lesnar. Okay, so and anyway, I want to say this: if this show was majority Paul Heyman's work, then I have to applaud, because this show is significantly better than the previous weeks, Raw or SmackDown combined. This honestly was a significant step up for the overall product, and I felt that there were a lot of things going on and storyline progression. So if this was Paul Heyman's work, great job, good direction. So the match started with the Falls Count Anywhere match. It's a repeated match we've seen over and over again between the two monsters, Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. And I thought that could this be like they did this as a hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match to counter the AEW hardcore match, and the AEW, there were some brutal spots in the AEW match, the Jon Moxley match, the steel chair shot to Cody. I don't know, but also they could be trying to counter the AEW's chance, because Fyter Fest happened yesterday, and if they start off with an in-ring segment of interview or talking, the crowd may be just chanting AEW. So maybe they're trying to counter that with a Falls Count Anywhere match. So should you watch this match? My answer is, for the match, you can just skip the match, but watch the ending of this match, where basically you see in this picture, Braun Strowman is putting Lashley through the Titantron. And the thing is, why I say F Kevin Dunn, because after they were put through the Titantron, it seems that both men were taken out, and they spent an actual almost 10 minutes on this B-roll footage shot from the sky, okay, or the top of the arena, without any cuts, just this one shot for 10 minutes, where yes, you can see everything, but it looks like just some stupid ass B-roll. And this is the first time, usually for Falls Count Anywhere match, and I mean usually for this kind of things where both competitors get severely injured, you will get close up, you will have the authorities running out and just trying to get medical help, but this is just a stupid B-roll shot at the back. So I don't know what's up, what went into your head, Kevin Dunn, that you thought this was good production. What was the feeling you're trying to conjure up? I don't know. But please end this feud now. So watch the ending of this match. Next, we have the Wrath of Samoa Joe. For this entire match, it started out with the New Day versus the Viking Raiders in a traditional tag match. Then soon after, Samoa Joe came out to attack Xavier. Then because of that, Kofi ran out to save his partner, obviously, and it got restarted as a 6-man tag. And you should take your time to watch the entire match itself, because this is an actual match with storyline progression, and the way they are booking Samoa Joe is, as usual, very strong. I really like this shit from Joe, because it's so him to run out halfway to attack the competitor, one of his brothers, and just disrupting the match. This is exactly what Samoa Joe does best. And the finish was brilliant. Even if you don't watch this match, the finish to the 6-man tag was brilliant. I marked out because Samoa Joe put Kofi in the coquina clutch, as you see here. And what happened? Kofi didn't kick out, Kofi didn't escape. He fainted and he lost to Samoa Joe. He fainted and he lost to Samoa Joe. The coquina clutch got him. The coquina clutch is still one of the strongest finishing moves in the entire company. And I love this ballsy booking, because Samoa Joe won clean. He not just tapped out, he passed out the champion, the WWE champion. But I put a but there, because we've seen this time and time again. His feud with AJ, with Rey Mysterio, all that in the shows leading up to the pay-per-view. He will always have the upper hand. He will always choke them out. But when it comes to the big one, it seems that they don't want to give the titles to Samoa Joe. So we'll still see, but this entire match is worth watching. Next, we have the 24/7 shenanigans, and then Cesaro is brutal. Yeah, Cesaro seems to have turned heel, and he's just brutal here. The gut wrench suplex to this guy, I forgot his name, and the neutralizer on the floor. So if you want to save your time, you don't have to watch this. Just basically, Drake Maverick and his wife were ringside. Who is this? No Way Jose and his lackeys came out dancing. They scheduled to have a match, but the camera panned to Drake and his wife, and then R-Truth came out trying to tease him with the 24/7 title. Shit happens. R-Truth runs out. But yeah, we get to see Cesaro completely destroy No Way Jose, and the match never even started. So I told you what happened, so you can skip this match. Next, we have the one of the build. Taker was built for this Raw basically, and Undertaker really appeared. Undertaker showed up. Shane McIntyre was there to give a promo before, but this is all about Taker, man. And this is just a standard classic Undertaker promo. I'm here to claim souls and dig holes and drag you to hell and the pits of damnation and all that. So there was a great line that he said that Shane may be the best in this world, but the place where he's gonna bring Shane to is gonna be eternal hell or something like that. This is so Undertaker. Anyway, this ends. There was no physical altercation, and yeah, it's just, we'll see what happens next week when Roman Reigns shows up. So take your time to watch. If not for Shane and Drew boring tire, just watch for Undertaker's return. You can skip this match, Lacey versus Natalya. Lacey won. You can skip this Miz won, and just 2 mid cards going nowhere. Next, we have the man and her man versus Mariah, who is back, and her bitch. I didn't call him her bitch. She said it herself in the backstage interview. So I don't know why they brought them back. Maybe because this is the right time. There's a power couple, and there you go. You have a jobber couple to face off. So now we know what's gonna happen in the pay-per-view. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch gonna go up against Baron Corbin and Lacey. So this is just a display of what they can do. Of course they win. No, hell no. Wait, they didn't win first. There was an actual gimmick halfway throughout, or even like few minutes into the match. Mariah takes the mic halfway in the match and screams, I'm pregnant! Who wrote this shit, man? And then everyone is shocked. Becky is shocked. Becky knows that, so because she's pregnant, Becky's not gonna hit her. And then Mike, her husband, is shocked as well. And what the hell? Mariah says one line that she doesn't think that Mike is man enough to be the father, to get her pregnant, basically. And Because of this distraction, Becky drags him back in, taps him out, and post match there was a promo. Mariah continues to shame, humiliate her husband, and there was one line saying that if you're not man enough, I'm gonna ask Becky to impregnate me. This is the WTF. Like who wrote this? Paul Heyman. Speaking of Paul Heyman is here, and the whole entire crowd marked out. And this gonna be good, man. So Heyman, he never talked about his executive role, but more to continue the purveyor of paranoia that Rollins is here, Kofi is here, is Brock gonna be here. We know he ain't showing up on free TV, Paul. So anyway, the two other Street Profit came out, and Street Profit actually made their debut in this show. So I really like Street Profit. They try to interrupt Heyman, going out all gangster on him. Heyman is just not feeling any of it and says he's a busy man. Yes, we know you are. And he disappears. And Street Profits, you better don't be disturbing this guy. This is the most powerful guy, man. Brock Lesnar will come out, whoop your ass. I'm just warning you. Next, we have the typical moment of bore, okay, and ends up with a match between, I don't know what happens, but you don't have to watch. I'm just gonna tell you what happens. Alexa loses to, who did she go up with? Carmella, right? Then after that, I guess the match restarts, and Nikki Cross was able to win against Carmella. So it's just another nothing going on. Next, so we have the main event. It's a US title rematch between AJ Styles and Ricochet, and throughout this entire show there was a lot of build up to this in terms of backstage segment. Overall, this was not a classic match. It was more of storyline building. AJ Styles actually got the quick win, so called. He pins him for the 1-2-3 after the phenomenal forearm, but the replay showed that Ricochet actually kind of tapped his foot on the bottom rope when it was a 3 count. So the other ref comes in, they restart the match. Commercial break comes back on. So AJ is not the champ yet. He didn't won officially. The match continues. Gallows and Anderson are out now, and you just sense that something is going on. And eventually Ricochet, wow, he won with the surprise small package after a really nice sequence of events. So definitely watch this entire match. And so it's 2-0 Ricochet to Styles, and they went on to shake hands. However, the club comes out, surrounds them ringside, and then this just happens similar to John Cena a few years back. AJ Styles hits Ricochet and proceeds to beat the living hell out of him. They end with a absolutely brutal Styles clash from the top rope onto Ricochet. Oh my god, I can't believe they actually allowed this. Looks so crazy and dangerous. They continue beat down on him, and this is just a full-on heel turn, man, and the show closes like that. So good job. I like this kind of finish, full heel turn that you have been teasing me for weeks, and a big finish to a pretty good Raw. So overall, the backstage segments, there were actually a lot of backstage segments. You have the 24/7 backstage segment, and Drake Maverick actually reclaimed the 24/7 title. So now he's 2-time champ, and he's gonna be having a happy time with his wife, who made her TV debut as well. Yeah, so LOL is just more LOL funny skits between Truth and Drake. As we mentioned, the club was stirring up shit throughout the segment. So if you have the time, watch the 24/7 segments. Watch the especially the one where Anderson and Gallows were stirring up shit, telling AJ Styles that Ricochet was trash talking behind his back and saying that he can beat him. Watch that entire segment, and eventually they slap each other. AJ Styles slaps the hell out of Ricochet. Ricochet retaliates with a slap. I really like that. There was a useless, and these you don't have to watch. Miss interview, just throw away. Baron Corbin, Lacey, throw away. There was a Ricochet interview. The first interview you can just skip that as well. And the last thing is basically Street Profits. They made their debut promo, which I highly recommend to watch, because they are super entertaining, and These guys are good, man. In terms of cutting promos, they're young. They remind me of Crime Time with that kind of vibe and that super high energy. And I can't wait to see possibly down the road the not Crime Time, Street Profits versus the New Day. How about that, hey? So we'll see. But good debut. I hope they do well. Okay. Anyway, the final rating I give a solid 7.5 out of 10 for this week's Raw. As you can see, it's a step up from last week. Last week was pretty good, 7 out of 10. But this week is way, considering for your average Raw and the product nowadays, I would even give it higher. But I'm considering the big picture. I don't want to lower my standards for the overall the history of WWE television. This kind of Raw will be nothing back in the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression era. But considering the product now and just the big picture, I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10 because there was a lot of good stuff, good visuals, good television, humor, storyline progression. Although there wasn't a good match, there wasn't good wrestling, but at least if this is the direction we're gonna have with Paul Heyman in charge, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I trust you, Heyman. So overall 7.5. This has been my review of Raw and whether you should watch or you should skip. And I'm the Asian Pitbull. Stay tuned for more wrestling content and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you down the road.